The great Miley Cyrus said, "If you eat meat, you love pets, not animals."
I'm Danny.
I'm NISHA.
I'm Nicole.
I'm Hannah. And this is
The Vegan View.
Cheers.
Hey guys, welcome back to The Vegan View. So recently on my Instagram story, I posted a quote from Miley Cyrus that said, "If you eat meat, then you love pets, not animals." And that was something that we all talked about in our group, and it's something we talk about all the time, the difference between why certain animals are loved and certain animals are food. And it's something that was really controversial. You said that you've posted that same quote and people got really mad.
Yeah, I posted it as an Instagram caption. I actually ended up taking down the caption because a lot of people were like very personally offended by it, while I thought it was really cute and cheeky, and I thought it really made you
Makes
think.
sense.
Yeah. What's the difference between the animals we love and adore and the ones we eat? They all feel feelings just like we do, and have emotions and attachments just like we do, and love their families just like.
And want to be with their babies like we do. Yeah.
And the thing that's crazy is that there's animals who have higher IQs than the dogs we have in our house that we eat as food. So it's not their consciousness and that their intelligence that divides them. So it's just literally like how cute we think they are or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's culture.
I think people are misunderstand it a lot too, because I used to think that it was an IQ thing. I used to think that the cows and the pigs weren't as aware of what is going on, what was happening to them, until I watched some videos on pig farms, and then I realized that pigs are actually smarter than dogs. They have the IQ of a 3-year-old, and
So they
that
can do
kind
puzzles.
of they're really smart. Chickens are even really smart too, and that kind of blew my mind once I started doing more research. I'm like, why don't we talk about this more as a society? Like, you never hear about pigs being smart. Yeah, there's just such a disconnect.
I remember something that really blew my mind when I first was looking at vegan content, thinking about going vegan. I saw a video of a mother cow getting her baby taken away from her, and she cried.
Oh my god, that was the
And I
worst
remember-
video I've seen.
Yeah, and it was so shocking to me because I didn't think animals could cry, which now I'm like, of course they can. They have central nervous system, they have frontal cortexes, they can process thoughts and emotions and what's going on, unlike plants. And it's like, of course, like it's logical that they can feel these things, but because of culture and because we're taught to draw a very strong line between the animals we love and adore and the ones we eat.
Right.
Like that PETA poster that's like, where do you draw the line? And everyone's like, it's easy. It's right there. And it's like, why do we do that?
Yeah.
Why is it so clear?
I think it's Gary Oroscopy says that eating meat is the first form of discrimination that we're taught, and it's so true. And I never realized that until like I became vegan, and I was like, like my whole life I just blindly believed that chickens and cows and pigs' lives didn't matter as much as a dog or a cat's, because that's what I was taught growing up. And it's just crazy that we just continue to do things because it's our tradition and that's how society works. Even though it doesn't make sense. Who decided that those animals were food, and who decided that killing a dog is? I think you can go to jail for like hurting a dog.
You really can. You can go to jail for hurting a dog. And I love seeing any kind of animal activism on my Facebook feed, but there is always a little sense of frustration when I see somebody post something for like the Yulin Dog Festival. They use those dogs to eat them, and people think it's atrocious. We in the United States couldn't imagine eating dogs because we see dogs as pets. Well, some people have pigs as pets, so
It's just culture.
It's a culture thing, and we're taught that these are your pets and these are to eat, and then we're going to get mad at other places for basically doing the same thing that we're doing, just with different animals.
When I first went vegan, it was within a month or two. It was the first time I felt like I kind of saw things from a whole new point of view. And there was this Carl's Jr. commercial, and it was for mini corn dogs. And the ad, I don't know if any of you guys remember, it was literally a plate of fried mini corn dogs with a mini dog, like a real dog, like a cute little puppy, sitting right next to it, and it was like mini dog, mini corn dog. It was a stupid fast food commercial, but I remember sitting at the counter at my mom's house and watching it and being actually mad, because it was the first time I was like, oh my god, this is so blatant. There are two animals on this screen right now, and one of them is fried and wrapped in cornbread, and another one is like, oh, cute little puppy. And the only difference, I'm getting mad just thinking about it, it's The only difference is that the puppy is cute and furry, and we've been, like you said, it's like culture for us to love them and to eat pigs, and it was so apparent, the disconnect. It made me sick, and it still really gets under my skin, because if it was people and we only liked cute, pretty people and we ate ugly people, I mean, I know that's a big jump, but it's kind of like that type of discrimination, like you said, is so unfair and so gross. It's so gross.
Well, it's kind of is true. We do celebrate people who are more beautiful more than people who have no physical beauty whatsoever and have something else going on for them. Looks is so much a part of like perpetuating bad things in culture.
Yeah.
It's funny because I was just watching a commercial the other night, and me and my boyfriend were sitting there and we're like, why does this chicken commercial like look gross? Because for me, I kind of just don't think about it when I'm watching TV. And I just said, I think they didn't do a good enough job of hiding the fact that that piece of chicken, they used like a whole chicken, that was a dead body. It really looked like a dead body. And like that's what's not appealing, when it's not like wrapped up and battered and looks like a little cube or like a hot dog or even a burger patty. There's this cognitive dissonance that this isn't a dead body anymore. This is a piece of food. We forget that these things are living, breathing things.
Yeah. And I feel like there's so many people who are really open to animal activism when they're like adopt, don't shop, or you said you saw someone posting about like the elephants in Africa and stuff like that, and
In Thailand.
oh, in Thailand, sorry. And people are, there's a lot of people who are super against SeaWorld and what they do to the orca whales there. But then if you try to explain to them that something that they're supporting every single day is having not only a worse effect on more animals, but also the environment and their health, they don't want to hear it at all. They don't want to affect their own lives. Saying, oh, I'm not going to go to SeaWorld anymore, I'm not going to buy a dog from a breeder, like that's not really going to affect their everyday life. So being so against those things and being animal activists in that way, but to actually change your diet and change the way you think about what you're choosing to put in your body every single day, like people don't really want to put that much effort into it.
I think it's fun to be an activist about things that don't affect you personally, because once it is something that is in your life and you have to like re-examine and look at, and it makes your life a little bit more difficult to do the right thing, then it's not so fun. Because I feel like when you talk to someone about food and being vegan or maybe decreasing their meat consumption, that's something that is going to affect them more than 3 times a day. And it's not easy. Like, you're going to have to think about it multiple times a day, and that makes people uncomfortable. Whereas adopt, don't shop, you're going to adopt a dog, like, once every year? If I had my wish, multiple times a year. But it's not something that you're continuously reminded of every single day. Or elephant riding. Everyone is really against that right now. But like, who's going to Thailand all the time and riding elephants? No one. And it's really easy to bash people when you're sitting on the other side because you've never done it.
Yeah. One of the ways we brought up this conversation in our text was I did see an influencer in Thailand, and she was talking about the sanctuary they went to, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's so amazing that she's promoting this. And then I went through the comments, and then of course everyone's like, oh my God, you're so amazing. Finally, an influencer that's influencing people to do something good. This is great, blah, blah, blah. This needs to be talked about. While I love it, there's just a part of me that's like, right, that's great. But what about what's going on in our own country? We've got 10 billion animals dying a year from factory farming, and we don't do anything about it. And if anyone like a vegan wants to come and say something about it, now we're pushy, now we're crazy, we're trying to tell you how to live your life. But it was so great for us, it's best for you, it's best for the planet, it's best for everybody. The benefits far outweigh the negatives.
And it's just like a social injustice that's happening right now, no matter if you want to deny it or not. Like, it's happening.
Sometimes people ask me if I miss meat, they'll be like, oh, well, don't you just kind of miss having a burger or whatever? And I can honestly say that I don't, because it's an animal, and I always knew my whole life it was an animal, but like in my brain somehow, with conditioning and with just what was culturally normal, I just thought that was food. And now it just seems so weird. It's like I don't crave dead animals. I don't want to put an animal between a burger bun. No, I don't miss that. It's
like, doesn't seem like food anymore at all.
Like once you think of it like that, especially people are so obsessed with bacon. It's either cheese they can't give up or bacon they can't give up. And bacon especially makes my skin crawl because I saw this video. It was actually on Freely's channel. I'll see if I can find it and link it below because it was so helpful. I actually showed it to my mom. I'm pretty sure it's one of the main reasons that she went vegan or plant-based. It's a puppy and a baby pig. And it just goes back and forth between the puppy and the pig. Have you guys seen it? It goes to the puppy and it's like, I like taking walks. And then it goes to the baby pig. I like taking walks too. And it's like, I like treats. I like treats. I like baths. I like baths. I like
belly rubs.
Belly rubs. Like, I can do tricks. And at the very end, you saw that they're so similar in so many ways. And they both are like adorable and loving and want love. And then at the end, it's like, then why am I a pet and I'm food? And it just was life-changing. I feel like after you see that, you can't ever think of it as bacon. It's like eating a dog. It's why?
Yeah, on Thanksgiving, someone in my family sent a picture of their turkey before they cooked it. And it was literally just like a dead. And they know I'm in the group text and it's just insensitive. And I wanted so bad to send a picture of a dead dog in the group text. But like seriously, like I don't, not that seeing a dead dog makes me happy, obviously it doesn't, but there's literally no difference. It's a dead animal and a dead animal. Just for some reason you want to eat one. They're like, oh yum, look at this, but like you would never look at a dead animal you ran over on the street.
A dead cat. I'd be like,
Yeah, it's just so weird that we're like brainwashed into thinking that some animals look delicious when they're dead.
We're so brainwashed that I'm sure those of you who talk about being vegan in your life get the same response from people over and over and over and over again. It is like we are robots. We have canines. Lions eat this. We've done this for years. It's always the same thing. Yeah, plants have feelings. It's always the same response, and that's how brainwashed we are as a whole.
Well, I have so much compassion for people who are like that. So when people say that to me, I'm like, honey, I feel you because I was you. Like, I take screenshots of my old Facebook statuses, and they were all about how dumb vegans are and vegetarians are stupid and meat is so delicious. I could never live without bacon. Like, that was me. And I just had such a sense of pride in eating meat.
Yeah, a lot of people do.
Because I was from Texas, and I was like this Texas girl. I love steak. I felt like when people would tell me something other than what I've been culturally told to do, like to eat meat, I would get so offended. And I know how people feel. It's like an attack on who you are, deep ingrained, like your parents. My family, I come from like a line of dairy farmers, and they're not bad people. I have amazing cousins and aunts and uncles, but this is our culture, and to attack that is to attack me and who I am. But if we don't examine the things we do every day, and even to this day, it's not even about veganism. Everything I think about, is this right? Am I making good choices? Is this good for what I'm doing in the world? Because I think about our lives are so short, but we can inflict so much damage with the choices we have and we make. I mean, once the veil has been lifted, it's like shocking. And something that like blows my mind every day is that most of the animals we eat are female. And we sit down to this injustice every single day, and we keep imprisoning female animals to make more animals that we eat, and we eat their children. And it messes me up because like things aren't good with women in the workplace right now. I mean, they're getting better, but it's not ideal. And
we have a long way to go.
Yeah, and it's just like we sit down to that injustice every single day, at least 3 times a day, and like I don't think people are aware of it. And for me, I'm like, we're eating people's mothers and children. It's so important to me that these are people, like not really people, but these are living things,
beings,
with families and genders and
feelings.
Yeah.
I wonder why. Like, why do you think people are so proud of their meat eating?
I think we spend so much of our lives being told to not be proud of certain things, that when things are encouraged by society that are a part of us, we like to celebrate them. So eating meat, I was like, oh good. Thank God I'm not weird. I'm already pretty weird. I come from a mixed race family. I didn't speak English until I was like 3 or 4, and
it probably helps helped made you feel kind of connected to
Yeah.
being American, right? Like
Yeah.
American culture.
Definitely. And I was like, oh, at least I'm this Texas girl and I eat meat. I'm not like my vegetarian ancestors. It's nice to not feel like part of the outside. And that's something I miss after going vegan is I feel like kind of an outsider by choice.
Yeah, I agree.
I feel like historically though, and I haven't done a ton of research on this, but before we evolved Homo sapiens, I think we ate meat because we were scavengers. We ate mostly fruits and vegetables, and we did evolve eating some meat the way that apes do now. They will eat meat if it's presented, but they don't sit down to meat breakfast, lunch, and dinner like we do. But then it was really only until like the last several centuries that we started eating meat a lot, because it was something that we could have that was sustainable, that kept us going, that was a dense source of nutrients. And I think even as recently as America being here, meat was a sign of wealth and doing well. You could provide for your family because everyone could have meat. And I think that's where that pride comes from. It's almost like when you have enough and you have a surplus,
Yeah.
it puts you up higher. Or
Yeah.
I feel like some
Status symbol.
humans
almost.
like having the power over another creature too.
Yes.
You know how like some humans like having power over other humans, and it's just like another like, haha, I killed this thing.
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
totally
like
it, yeah.
I don't know.
I think you're onto something with the wealth though, because whenever I would have a birthday, steak was always my choice, my
Yeah.
dinner choice, because it was expensive. So that was a fancy treat for me. So maybe other people have grown up like that and it is like a treat for them. Over Thanksgiving, my boyfriend's mom was talking about how when she was growing up, they didn't have a lot of money. And so whenever they would have a Thanksgiving with a turkey, it was a really special Thanksgiving for her, because most Thanksgivings they didn't have a turkey. So there could be something to that where it's kind of a long ingrained thing where it's something special.
It makes you feel like you're taking
Thriving.
care of yourself.
Yeah. We've lived so long as human beings trying to survive, and now we're in a new shift, the industrialization of agriculture, and we don't have to try to survive so much. We want to thrive now. We want to live long and feel good while we're living that life. Yeah, we did eat meat at one point in time when we're trying to survive, but no one is trying to survive right now, like, especially if you're watching this. Obviously,
just like
there are food
yeah, like
deserts
yeah.
and...
But those of us who have access to grocery stores have sort of evolved past the need to eat meat, because we have access to every kind of food. You don't have to go out and pick. Like, you can get everything that you need nutritionally from plants at your fingertips at the grocery store. And so really the only excuse you have for eating meat is that you like the way it tastes.
Selfish needs.
Yeah.
I didn't stop eating meat because I didn't like the taste. I still to this day like the taste of meat. I like the Beyond Burger. I like Gardein chicken nuggets. But for me, I was like, wow, I am in this position where I can have access to plenty of legumes and rice and vegetables, and for me to not make the right choice when I'm in this position of privilege, I'm literally not doing my part to make the world a better
And
place.
it's so easy. The least you can do is just not eat meat and dairy. And if you cared about anything else, maybe you don't care about animals. Maybe this episode's not for you. But if you care about world hunger, or you care about places where there are food deserts, or the environment, then you would go vegan for that, because we wouldn't have hunger in this world, because we'd be able to produce so much more fruits and vegetables on the land that we're using right now for factory farming, and we'd be able to use the water for that rather than for the factory farming.
And we feed so much food to animals.
To the food.
And then we eat it, and it's taking so much abundant food and water, clean water, and then filtering it down into one living thing's life that we have to raise for a while, and then only a couple people can eat it.
And those animals are the ones that we decided are for food. So it's okay to fatten them up and feed them more than what is natural, put them in situations that are unnatural, and really harm them. Have you guys seen Matt? I think I posted on the Vegan Views Facebook page. I'll link it under this video as well. Maddie, what's her last name?
Lynn Berner.
Lynn Berner, love her. And she has this video where she is doing a protest at a slaughterhouse, and it's this huge, like, you know those big trucks full of pigs. They're just sort of stacked on top of each other going to the slaughterhouse by the truck full. They haven't had water in a long time because they're about to be killed anyway, so they're just sort of treated like a commodity. And just the sound, they're so afraid. And they go up to the truck and they say, can we have 2 minutes? And they come with water bottles, and they it's so awful, and it just like you can't watch that and not feel something. But imagine if that was dogs.
Yeah.
Imagine people would freaking lose their minds, especially in the US. People would riot. If it was cats, if it was horses, if it was animals that we've decided aren't food because of whatever cultural norm, people would lose their minds. But because it's a animal that we think is food, it's okay.
We look at it as like an object.
I'm probably going to say this, and it's probably going to be really unpopular, but doesn't mean that you can't think that humans are more worthy of life. Like if I see a baby drowning and a puppy drowning, I'm going to save the baby. Like, I'm a human. I'm going to save that baby. It doesn't mean that even though you have like prejudice towards an animal, you may like cats more than dogs, but you don't think both of them deserve to die, or one deserves to die more than the other.
I tell people that all the time. I'm like, I don't want to have a pig in my house. Like, I don't want to cuddle with a pig, but that doesn't mean I want to eat one either. I think it's really interesting that, like you said, like a baby, people will protect the weakest of humans, like babies and old people. We would go out of our way to take care of them. But then when it comes to an animal that's weaker and actually needs our help more, like a cow or a pig or a chicken who isn't, big and strong and can fight back, then we like look at them as just objects for us to use.
Why do you guys think that people freaked out so much over the Cecil the Lion thing? And like that guy was villainized so much. I mean, I couldn't go on Facebook without seeing something about Cecil the Lion. But that was one animal. But then nobody cares about any of the other animals that are dying every day.
I think not a lot of people are put in that position and have the access to like a safari park like he does. He even went to hunt out of season and out of the park. And so everyone can put themselves above that and be like, oh, I hunt, and I wouldn't do that. It's easy to separate yourself from something like that when you don't relate to the aggressor. It's easy to not see yourself in other people, and I think it's more compelling to try and see yourself in people who are not like you. And I think that's when injustice starts to break down and we start to see like we are each other, just under different circumstances, living different lives because we've been brought up in different ways. Even I get mad at people like who do stupid things on the internet, and it makes me so mad. But I have to think, if I was put in their position and I had grown up the same way as them, I would have probably done the same thing. We're not so different after all. And I think this can be saying the same way with animals.
When we see things like this, like an injustice is going on, like we need to not be afraid to stand up to what is socially acceptable. And like, even though being vegan is weird and like we all get crap from our families all the time and people who don't understand because they're still, stuck in the societal norms of eating meat and thinking that we're weird. Like, it's really important for us to stand up because humans are meant to evolve, like through history, we've been continuously changing and growing. And if we just keep doing what everyone else is doing, like nothing's going to change and nothing's going to get better. Just like with women's rights and gay rights, like it all started with people who were weird and stood up for it, you know?
I was thinking about that on the drive over here actually, because I was thinking about how, in 101 Reasons to Go Vegan, he does the 2 circles.
Yeah.
Which one's bigger, and they're actually the same, even though they look quite different because of the color and the brightness or whatever. And then over time, it's like if you were told that these circles were different, like you would believe it. He was just making a point about how cultures and traditions get started. And I was thinking about that, and then I was thinking that all of those started with one person or with a group of people, and then their families and their families and their families, and how cool that we're vegan. And I've only ever thought about being vegan in my lifetime. I'm gonna have a healthier life. I'm gonna not eat animals. I'm gonna have a less impact on the environment. But it occurred to me the ripple effect and how cool that is if my kid then decides to go vegan, and if he has a vegan family or she has a vegan family, and then their kids and their kids and their kids, that would really be like big change. And that could be the cultural norm and it could start with people like us. We could really create all new cultures, and it's a decision we made for ourselves, but it could really be so much bigger than us. Like, that is so cool to think about.
It gets me excited as a parent. I'm hoping that by teaching my children from the day they're born that all animals' lives are equal, I hope that kind of spreads out into every aspect of their life.
And even without children, like, do you know how many people each of us is probably influenced to
Just,
go
yeah,
vegan or
just
to
by
stop
being
eating as
yourself.
much meat. Even if it's one person, that one person's probably going to influence someone
And
else.
I feel like when you open your eyes to veganism, you want to just be like more compassionate in every aspect of your life.
there's so much love that
Yeah.
comes with the kind of vegan movement we want to see.
Yeah.
And that we want people to spread, and it's beautiful, and I think it's really exciting.
It's the first form of discrimination you learn, but it's also the first one you can like
Easily break
change,
down.
unlearn, and change, and it can like spread out into every aspect of your life.
I have a friend who is not vegan, but he gets it, you know?
Yeah.
But he's not wanting to make that change himself. But he always will say to me, I feel like you're on the right side of history though, Hannah. He's like, I feel like one day my kids are gonna think that I was a monster for eating meat. And he's like, that will be in the history books one day, that we ate, like humans ate meat.
One of my favorite quotes is from Harry Potter, and it's the amount of followers doesn't dictate your power, it's the quality of one's convictions. And I think that's so true, because I mean, such a small percentage of people identify as vegan, but it is such like a beautiful, wonderful movement, and I'm really happy to be a part of it, because the morals of it, I think, are very high quality and
What
cool.
we need.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's gonna wrap up today's video. Let us know if you have anything to add to today's discussion in the comments down below. Make sure you check out our Facebook group and our individual channels, and we will see you guys next week here on The Vegan View. Bye!